You mentioned something really intriguing to me, and that was, the stories that you were telling yourself in the beginning.
Yes.
Who you were, and like an identity crisis of sorts, because everything that you thought you were and your purpose and reason for being, and then everything seems shattered. Can you speak to the stories that we tell ourselves in traumatic situations, and what did you discover along the way?
First of all, I learned so much that I was telling myself stories all the time, that my mind was this incessant chatter in my head that was actually something separate from me. So Eckhart Tolle was a huge influence in me, but that was the first shift, is first becoming aware that that voice in my head was there, and that voice is not who I am, that I am something so much more vast and spacious, and starting to separate myself. And I feel like trauma is this perfect invitation. It doesn't feel like that, but it is this perfect boot camp to experience that awakening, because that voice in trauma gets so loud. And I would say, when I was in that rock bottom place, and when people typically are in that rock bottom place, that voice is coming from this limbic part of our brain that is screaming, you're not safe, you have to survive, you have to do whatever it takes. It might not say it in those words, but it's just constantly, its job, that part of us, its job is to help us survive. So we feel dysregulated, we feel really threatened, we feel out of control. So that first level of dysregulation is really embodied and so gut level and automatic. And then as we kind of pull out of that a little, typically that voice is going to be self-protective in a different way. It's less immediate and embodied, like a freak out or panic attack kind of feeling. And it's going to turn more into creating like either some kind of victim narrative. And that victim narrative can look different ways. It can look like it's all this person's fault. Can you believe how awful? Or it can be like, it's all my fault. I'm the worst person that ever lived, blah, blah, blah.
And there's a reason, and then...
Yes, yeah. And it just builds and builds. Mm-hmm. But that those voices are coming from this small self, this small, Eckhart Tolle would call it the ego, right?
Right.
That small self that's trying to self-protect and trying to keep us safe. Mm-hmm. That narrative, all of those narratives, becoming aware of that is one of the most powerful things I think any one of us will ever do in our lives, is make that separation. Mm-hmm. Because that voice is there not just in those shattering moments, but it's there throughout all of our lives. It can be there when we think we're doing really well. It's recognizing that there's a voice coming from this smaller, more fear-driven survival part of me, more fear, motivated part of me. And how does that feel different than when I'm connected to the present moment? I'm just here, and I can feel the spaciousness of who I am in that bigger way. Mm-hmm. And so really, my book is in so many ways a journey of really being fully identified as that small, fearful, shattered self, through this journey, becoming something that feels so spacious, mm-hmm. and has the capacity to be with whatever comes from that deeper place of intuitive knowing and wisdom, and is still on the journey and hasn't arrived, but definitely.
But more empowered.
Absolutely,
on the journey.
Yes, and fundamentally moving through the world in a different way. Mm-hmm. And kind of how the incredibly positive fruits in every way that come from taking that, what really is an internal spiritual journey for yourself, regardless of the outcome, regardless of how the relationship turns out, mm-hmm. or how the crisis resolves, that kind of expansive journey inside yourself is the real victory.
Yeah.
The title of my book is Undone, Unafraid. evolving through trauma, betrayal, femininity, and faith. You'll be able to find my book in hardcover, softcover, ebook, and Audible. And you can also find me at BeckyMoller.com. I hope if you feel any desire for more support that you'll reach out to find me, because I truly want to hear from you.